Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Mckayla and today's video is going to be a girl talk video. I was debating on doing these for one of these videos for like a while now, and I finally decided just to go ahead and do it. So I have a lot of personal questions here that you guys asked me. So just beware, if you're family, you probably don't want to watch this because gets personal. But yeah, so like I said, these are your guys' questions. I'm going to answer them the best way that I can, and yeah, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off, we're gonna start with, what is sex like after a baby? Starting it off with a bang. So after I had Timothy, sex was very painful. Even months after giving birth, it was still painful. And it was because I tore and a stitch either got infected or something went wrong, and I had about an inch of scar tissue inside of me. So yeah, that made sex very painful, and yeah, so not good. What was your first postpartum period like? So it's not really a period, it's just bleeding after postpartum, so I'll start with that and then I'll tell you guys my period after having a baby. So right after you have your baby, it's postpartum bleeding, and basically it's a lot of blood, it's a lot of clots, it's just a lot, and it's a lot more than your regular period. It's very uncomfortable, and then whenever they come to push on your stomach to make sure everything's like okay, then more blood comes out. So it's just a lot of blood that's going on. And then whenever you actually get your first period, it's just like a normal period. At least it was for me. Like there wasn't like I wasn't bleeding a lot more, I wasn't bleeding a lot less. It was just like a regular period. Does losing your virginity hurt? So this is what my parents used to scare me to not have sex, but honestly it didn't hurt me. So if you're scared, your body naturally tightens down there, so it's going to hurt a lot more than if you're relaxed and comfortable. So if you're planning to have your first time, you think you're ready, which I hope you really are ready, just make sure that you're relaxed, make sure that you're comfortable, because if you're not, it's going to hurt really bad. I remember trying to have sex before I actually did, and I was just really scared, really uncomfortable, and I was clenched, and it hurt a lot, and it took me a while to get comfortable again to actually want to try it again. So you just have to make sure that you're calm, you're ready, because if you're not ready, your body's going to naturally tighten and it's going to hurt. Does condoms hurt? So it depends what condoms you use. There's, I believe, latex-free condoms, and then there's condoms with lube, condoms without lube. I obviously haven't had very much experience with condoms considering I have 2 kids, but whenever I did use condoms, I made sure I used the ones with lube, because if you don't, it hurts really bad. First period story. So whenever I first got my period, I was laying down and I was watching TV, and I was like, I feel weird. So I got up and I went to the bathroom, and my period had started, and honestly, I wasn't in too much pain. I wasn't cramping very much. I used pads for a pretty long time, so I went and got a pad and all of that. And then my period, the first time I ever got my period, it lasted for about a month and a half straight, and that was horrible. So yeah, that was my first period. Horror period story. So I remember one time, it was like in the beginning, kind of whenever I first got my period, it was like maybe the second time I got my period. I have really bad cramps, and I remember I was at my mom's and I was laying down on her bed and I was bent over, like I couldn't lay straight. I was in so much pain, like I was laying there, I couldn't move. I felt like I was gonna puke. I felt like I was gonna shit myself. Like I was in so much pain. It was unreal, like worse than childbirth, like no joke. It was the worst pain I've ever experienced. So that was my period horror story. I've never bled through. I've always been like really careful about all that, or paranoid about all of that, so I've never bled through or anything, but I have been in so much pain that I was bent over, couldn't move, was gonna puke, like, yeah. Did you bleed after your first time having sex? No, I did not. What was your favorite part about pregnancy? I'd have to say my favorite part about pregnancy was either the ultrasounds where you got to see your baby or feeling your baby kick. I would probably have to say feeling your baby kick because that's happening more often than you're getting ultrasounds, but I loved ultrasounds because you got to see that your baby was okay and growing and everything, but definitely feeling your baby kick is an awesome feeling. Have you ever lost yourself in a relationship? Yes, I have lost myself in a relationship. I started dating Mckayla whenever I was 14 years old, and at 14 I was giving like everything to this boy and it just wasn't healthy. Like I definitely don't recommend getting in a relationship at a really young age or in high school in general until you're maybe like a junior or senior, because it's not gonna last most likely. But yeah, so I did lose myself because I was giving like everything to this boy when I was 14 years old, and yeah, I definitely don't recommend it. Definitely don't recommend dating at a really young age. Just wait. Do you get really bad period pains? If you do, what helps the pain? So I already talked about this. Yes, I get really bad period pains, and I take I think it's Midol for the pain. I'm not 100% if that's what it's called, but it's a period, it's like a cramp medicine. I believe it's Midol. If it's not, I'm sorry, but yeah, I take that and it's the only thing that ever helped me. Are you bi? Okay, so I've never addressed this just because I don't feel like I need to. I personally, like, I've only been with 2 people, like had serious relationships with 2 people in my life, and they were both male, but I am attracted to people. Like if I think you're beautiful and you have a good personality and like, then I'm attracted to you. I really don't care, male, female, trans, like that doesn't bother me. I'm just attracted to people I'm attracted to, and I don't put a label on it because I don't even know what you would label that. But yeah, so that's like my sexuality. I'm just attracted to people I'm attracted to. Like I said, I don't care about the gender or anything. Like it's just, if I'm attracted to you, I'm attracted to you. Is giving birth as bad as they make it out to be? So yes and no. If you don't get the epidural, probably, but I had the epidural both times, and even though the epidural failed with Timothy, I still was like, has some numbing, whereas with Gracelynn, I literally was numb. I didn't feel anything. I was pushing her out. I got an episiotomy, didn't feel any of it. But with Timothy, I felt like the ring of fire and stuff, but I didn't feel it to the full extent. So I would say yes and no. If you put your mind to it and you're focused and you're concentrating and you're breathing through the contractions, you can get through it pretty easily. But yeah, I mean, it's 50-50. It really depends on everybody, because some people, some people think it's really bad. Some people think it's like, I could do it again, which is like kind of how I feel. So yeah, it's just, it really depends on everybody's pain level or pain tolerance. Best period app. So I have always been looking for a good period app, and I've been using Flow period app, and that's my favorite. It's FLO. Does your vag go back to normal after giving birth, and what does it feel like? So yes, it goes back to normal after giving birth, but right after you give birth, it feels like balls, like straight up, it feels like you have a pair of balls. How has your body changed? So I just have stretch marks. I have a little mom belly. Like, it's like, I have some saggy skin. I have stretch marks on my boobs, my butt, my thighs. Yeah, that's basically it. It's basically just stretch marks and then a little bit of loose skin on my stomach. It really doesn't bother me like it does sometimes, like if I'm wearing something and I sit down and then my little pooch comes out. But other than that, it doesn't really bother me. Did you experience hair loss after pregnancy? Yes, I did. With Timothy, I experienced it a lot more than Gracelynn. I don't know if you can tell, but these baby hairs, like all of these are lost hair. So yeah, I used to have just baby hairs right here before pregnancy, but now it's like all my hairline. So yeah, that's hair loss from pregnancy. Have you ever had a threesome? Hell no, never will. Don't even want to. Don't even think about it. Like, no, I'm too insecure for that. I don't want somebody else all up in my business. No, like sex, no. Like, I take sex very seriously. Like, sex is like something that I only do with people I love, and I just no. What do they not tell you about childbirth? So they always talk about pooping while you're pushing, but they never talked about the amount of pressure you get before you even push. Like, literally, I pooped on the bed before I was even pushing. Before I was even pushing, I pooped on the bed. And I was farting, and I was peeing myself. I peed myself with both of my kids while I was in labor, but I pooped myself whenever I was having Timothy before I was even pushing. So the amount of pressure that you get through the contractions and stuff, it's real. It's horrible. How did having kids change your relationship? So after you have kids, I feel like you change a lot, and if the other person doesn't change with you, it can be really hard to continue that relationship. Like, I just feel like it changes you a lot as a person to have kids. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that can change your relationship, and like the struggles and just like getting through all these hard times, like it just really challenges the relationship. What was giving birth to the placenta like? Honestly, I don't even know. I didn't even feel it. They pretty much just pull it out, I think. How long do contractions last after labor? So they last pretty much all night. With Gracelynn, they lasted a lot longer and they were a lot more painful than with Timothy. Like with Gracelynn, I was able to breastfeed right after she came out. So I was breastfeeding, and every time I breastfed, I got contractions. It hurt so bad. With Timothy, I got contractions, but not as bad because he wouldn't latch. So yeah, I mean, they last pretty much all night. How old were you when you started your period? I was 13 whenever I started my period, so yeah. Biggest struggle with breastfeeding. My biggest struggle with breastfeeding was getting my son to latch. Gracelynn, she did amazing with breastfeeding. It was just like I was in so much pain with her because I wasn't able to use nipple guards because she wouldn't latch to the nipple guards. And then with Timothy, his big problem was latching. And then I bought nipple guards and he latched, and he breastfed for 2 months. I wasn't in any pain because I had guards on. So yeah, latching and then just the pain were my two biggest struggles with breastfeeding. So that is all for my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this wasn't too awkward. Oh well, so yeah, maybe part 2 if you want a part 2, like the video, and I hope to see you all in my next video.